There were a lot of concepts that I hadn't seen in a while in terms of math, and a lot of the videos that I watched in preparation definitely kind of brought all of that back to surface in my mind.
June 2023, I graduated from my Ukrainian university with bachelor's in computer science. And I started thinking about grad school again because I work for USG and they give you this opportunity. They pay for school if you get in.
I will be going into my senior year at University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. I'm exercise sports science, pre-physical therapy, track. A couple of the schools that I'm applying to require a GRE. I guess my top choice is probably UW-La Crosse's PT program. So that's why I took the GRE.
So I took the GRE for CPT admission, so physical therapy school admission requirements.
Prepping for GRE, the general test, not any subject, anything. And I just took a couple tests too, so that I could, choose the best score. I was using a lot different prep materials. Magoosh obviously was one of I used K-Plan and also Manhattan Prep, where they have this 5-pound book practice.
I think they required to even apply to the program a 143 and a 143 for math and verbal, 3.0 for writing. So, ideally, I kind of just wanted to get a 300 total, just so I was well above the minimum. So, I got Magoosh to help me prep. I did the 6-month in case I didn't do well. So, I started studying Magoosh the last week in May, and then July 2nd. So just a little over a month of studying. I did the first week or two, I kind of just did practice questions, would just practice math and then practice verbal and then watch the videos that if I got wrong to see what I got wrong.
Started using one of the GRE prep books, and then for I'd say 2 or 3 weeks, and then I switched over to Magoosh after that and used it for a month.
I have 295 GPA, which is not ideal for grad school, so I needed GRE to boost my, kind of balance it out.
I did have a target score in mind, and I think I was pretty far off from that on the initial practice test that I took.
Again, it's very helpful that on Magoosh I can go and just practice this certain thing that I want to, and it will also adjust in the process, and I can go back to the question. When I took, let's say, 20 questions, just randomly, I go to this question, I see again the difficulty, and then explanation.
I thought it was good that something that was super helpful was, by judging that, was just if I went into the math video lessons and it has it characterized based off geometry or statistics, and then I could go into the quiz that was just a 5-question quiz. I did those a lot for each category, where I was getting 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 consistently, and I was able to rule that out, that was probably something that I didn't need as much attention on. And then sometimes I'd go into a point and get 1 or 2 right, and it's probability I need more work on, or counting I need more work on. So I thought that was definitely a tool that I used a lot to figure out what is further behind.
What is helpful for me is that there's video and also transcription, because at times people perceive information differently. So that was a certainly good UX move on that.
And in terms of vocab, I'd say that was the other area that was hardest for me, learning some pretty niche words. But other than that, I felt really prepared, and I knew what was coming my way.
They had the multiple math and multiple verbal with easy, medium, 2 mediums and a hard. I thought that was good, especially for verbal. I really like those for verbal.
The thing that I could do when I'm just not doing anything is just flashcards. I use K-Plan, and also you have Magoosh GRE vocab as an app. That is something very cool. Yeah, so my first GRE I've taken 26. It was kind of before I was just getting in to know what is test about, all those kind of things. And the cumulative score was like 297. Then I ended up taking another test. I ended up getting 314.
The easy one, I got a 150. Then the medium one, I got a 150 as well. And then the second medium one, I got a 148. And then the hard one, I was like my lowest score I've ever gotten.
I took a practice one. I scored really low, like initially on that first practice test. And so that was another thing that I felt like that book kind of like giving me enough ideas for like improvement.
So in April, I kind of just went through all of the topics. Like I had this just basic K-plan study prep, but they had everything.
The lesson helped with certain strategies and things like that, like how to approach problems, but definitely just doing practice problems every day for verbal was the most important part for me.
And yeah, basically I was studying for about hour and a half to 2 hours every day.
A lot of times I could be done with work at 1 or 2 p.m., kind of just head to the on-campus library, get like a good 2 or 3 hours in, usually go to about 5.
There were a lot of concepts that I hadn't seen in a while in terms of math, and a lot of the videos that I watched in preparation definitely like kind of brought all of that back to surface in my mind. So I felt pretty good about that part too.
There's a bunch of essays for the programs I'm applying to, so they care about that more than the actual GRE writing score. So it wasn't one of my top priorities.
Then I figured that, for example, since I'm Ukrainian, a lot of terms, especially math, are like completely different. All of the other resources were just serving as, straightly resources to acquire kind of big database as possible of all of the types of things, and then just go in. And I always ended my practice with like going to Magoosh and like, okay, doing this.
I did the first week or two, I kind of just practice questions, would just like practice math and then practice verbal and then like watch the videos. That especially 3 weeks out, I really started doing all the lessons for the verbal and everything like that. And then I did the math and the ones I like needed more, like I needed practice with geometry. So I did all the geometry and coordinate geometry lessons. I was pretty good on statistics and other things. The counting, I did a lot on the counting.
I was using a lot different prep materials. Magoosh obviously was one of them. I used K-Plan and also Manhattan Prep, where they have this 5-pound book practice
with like all of the content in the book. And I just felt like it wasn't organized very well. So I was I looked up other resources and Magoosh came up, and that just seemed most straightforward, and everything seemed kind of like there in one place. And I also really liked the set schedules of it. So I was pretty sure in my decision to go with that because that felt more effective than trying to use that book for a month.
After I'd do a bunch of the lessons, I would do the practices at the end in the videos, which I thought was helpful. And then, I took a couple of practice exams. So I did for my practice tests. I guess I took the first, the smaller one, just the shorter one, before I even started studying. I think the day I got the GRE program, just to kind of see, I guess, or get a rough estimate.
Say the biggest, most helpful part of Magoosh was definitely scheduling and how it laid out each day for you, because I initially just didn't know where to start and felt so overwhelmed that I wanted to procrastinate. So having that set schedule really kept me on track and made sure that I covered,
I did have a really nice schedule in June when I was studying for this. So it's definitely a lot more flexible. I did a couple of practices to get familiar with it.
Usually I skim through the text part, and if I'm like, well, I don't really get it, I go into the video, go where I need to go.
Analytical writing topic. I was intimidated by that initially, and then after I did a lot of the practice prompts through Magoosh, kind of figured out a general outline to follow, and I also worked on my timing. And so after a little bit of practice on that, I felt really confident in that.